Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Snav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmat, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is a Game of Thrones, chapters 69 and 70. In these chapters, Tyrion's heading to King's Landing, and Jon's heading beyond the wall. Yay.
Yay, journeys.
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I don't know. That's like every cliche, everything ever.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmat, what did you think of these chapters?
Okay, these chapters were very interesting because during Tyrion's chapter, it was very satisfying. All the events were great. I was like, yes, in your face, Tywin, take that. But then we switched to Jon, where I was a little bit frustrated with Jon, and that is all I will say.
All right, fair enough. Let's get right into it by summarizing. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so we start the chapter, and Tyrion, they're at the inn, and they're talking. It's Tyrion, it's Kevin, it's Tywin, and they're all talking, and Tywin is shook, and he can't even speak. That's how shook he is, and it's so funny. And his brains are blown that Robb, this child, is beating him, and it's really funny. And he's like, they have my son, and he's all emotional, and they're going through all the details of everything that's happening and all their plans. And now Tywin's plan is to, leave from the inn, and he's gonna send Tyrion to King's Landing because Joffrey is sucky. Jon. Okay, so Jon is trying to escape, and he almost runs Sam over trying to escape, and then Sam goes and tells Gren and Pip and them, and then they all go get Jon, and they're like, you freaking dumbass, get the fuck back here right away. And then they finally get back not just in time, they get back like an hour in time, and then he has to go see Maester, and Maester's like, you think I didn't know?
Maester?
No, not Maester, Mormont. Mormont's like, you think I didn't know?
Okay, that's everything.
Yes.
Also, again, Maester is not somebody's name.
Okay, whatever. Maester Aemon.
We're, approaching the end of the book. You should know this.
I know that, but I just don't...
Just add the at the beginning, the Maester. He's going to see the Maester.
Okay, I only have 30 seconds. I don't have time to say that.
I went to see Doctor today.
If I only had 30 seconds to tell you, I might.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's get into it. So, Tyrion. They have my son, Tywin Lannister said. Well, I don't know. But the whole thing is that he's actually not showing. You're like, they have my son. That's not what he is. He's angry that they have his son.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Yeah, it makes fun. It makes fun. It is fun. It makes fun.
It's very fun. And
Tyrion's like, well, one of your sons. And I'm like, yeah, but also yeah.
Yeah.
So they're listening to this messenger who's bringing news of the Battle of the Whispering Woods and the Battle of the Camps, which is the battle that happened at River Run.
Mm-hmm.
And they're they find out that Jaime's been captured.
Yay!
Yeah, and it's kind of real extra sucky because they had, as soon as they learned that, Robb had gone to Riverrun with part of his host, they had rushed south in hopes of getting to Riverrun ASAP, right?
Yeah.
So much so that all the some of the people died on the way because they were going at this grueling pace, and some abandoned, and some were injured so badly that they had to be left behind, all that stuff. And still they weren't able to make it to Riverrun, and it sucks, and it's great.
Yeah, sucks to be them, but you totally underestimated Robb, as we all did.
With Tywin and all these high lords, they had horses and attendants, they didn't care. It's all the regular people that died, so that for them, I feel, but not for Tywin. So there's a few people around the table. So there's Sir Harris Swift, who is Kevin Lannister's father-in-law, and he's like, how could this happen? Jaime's so stupid to separate his people into 3 camps and blah blah blah. And Tyrion's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Your biggest accomplishment is marrying your daughter to Sir Kevin. Like, calm down.
Period.
And, you know, Kevin's like, yeah, well, he had no choice because the castle's kind of located in a way that you have to besiege it in 3 separate camps because it, like, sits at the point of like a fork, you know what I mean? Like a fork in the river, right? Mm-hmm. And then they create a moat when they're being besieged on the one side that they're not surrounded by a river. So basically they're like an island, and to block off all the, you know, access points, you gotta surround them.
Yeah. And like, that wasn't Jaime's mistake, like what he's pointing out. I'm like, sir, that was not a mistake. You're pointing out all the wrong things. Yeah,
like that was the only thing he could do. Yeah, that's what Kevin says.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love River Remnant's, like, geography. It's so cool. Just like, I'm just gonna, you know, they're doing this for war reasons, but if, like, I was a really antisocial person like I am, I would just be like, okay, fill in the moat. Nobody gets to come to my house.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, I totally get that.
Oh, also, one of the great things, like, if you're, like, being besieged and you're surrounded by 2 rivers, you can just fish. Like, you don't run out of food very quickly.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh.
Because, like, that's one of the biggest things is, like, people, they're about to, like, starve, and so they give in, but
that's true.
You got fish.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of, yeah, you're right. It's, like, the perfect place to be secluded.
Mm-hmm. And Sir Gregor Clegane's there. Sir. And he's like, well, what about the people that were supposed to, like, keep an eye out? They didn't? Oh, well, they don't need their eyes then.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna dominate just by making them, like, what the heck? Like, you really think that's gonna work? Like, clearly these people are trying.
This is his exact quote. He says, a man who sees nothing has no use for his eyes. Cut them out and give them to your next outrider. Tell him you hope that 4 eyes might see better than 2, and if not, the man after him will have 6.
I can't.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna threaten them to do their jobs better?
Tywin's just, like, looking at the dude, and, like, Tyrion can't tell if it's, like, in approval or disgust.
Yeah.
But later on, like, Tywin puts the Mountain in charge of, like, raiding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, gives him power, so, like...
Clearly approval.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I would not put it past him.
Mm-hmm.
And they, like... You know, no matter what it is, like, they know the Mountain. They know that this is what he's like. So, just the fact that he's out here doing his thing. But also, I guess, like, even if, like, you know, it's kind of that thing of, like, he's a very powerful, like weapon. You know, like, the way they're using him.
They're willing to overlook his shortcomings. They're like, well, he brings us all this other stuff, like, you know, nobody can kill him because he's so damn huge.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they're kind of talking about, like, the actual, like, when they came back to Free River Run, and they're talking about how, like, their men got pushed downstream and they, like, couldn't cross, and the ones that did cross, there were Starks on the other side.
Dude is talking about how there was, like, they tried to cross the rivers, like, one of the rivers, to get to the other camp to help them fight. And, like, they were pulling across, but the river, like you said, they went downstream, and then people in the castle started bombarding them with rocks, so they got sunk. Got sunk, is that a thing?
They sank.
They sank and drowned. And this dude, Sir Flemont Brax, is like, what about my father? And apparently, he was wearing full, like, plate and mail armor when he was, like, on the raft trying to get over the river. And the messenger's like, oh yes, he was very gallant when he died. And the return's like, well, he was a fool when he died.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, like, crossing a river at night on a crude raft, wearing armor with an enemy waiting on the other side, if that was gallantry, he would take cowardice every time. He wondered if Lord Brax had felt especially gallant as the weight of his steel pulled him under the black water. And I'm like, ooh.
I enjoyed that quote as well. It was funny. And after that, they're talking about like when they're trying to cross, like the Starks like were attacking from the west as well. And my favorite part was when they're talking about how Robb had what's his wolf's name?
Greywind.
When Robb had Greywind beside him, and he apparently killed 4 men and ripped apart a dozen horses, which is crazy.
Yep. It's like Greywind is helping create this like legend for Robb, like the dude that fights with a wolf, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really cool. And like they were kind of holding up against the attack from the west, but then Riverrun saw that people were coming to help them, and then they got their forces from inside the castle and came out and like surrounded the people in the west, and it was like, yay!
Yes. It was amazing. It was this nice little moment, and I loved it. And Sir Edmure Tully's safe now, which is good. And
that's exactly what I was going to say. So Edmure was found, and like a bunch of any other captives, they were all released. And the guy that was in the furthest camp tried to retreat, but like part of his force, which were Tyroshi's sellswords, they went over to Robb's side when they saw who was actually winning.
Yep.
So
I was like, yes, period.
Yeah. And then Sir Harris Swift is like, oh my gosh, this is a catastrophe. And Sir Adam Marbrand's like, I'm sure we're all grateful to you for pointing out the obvious, Sir Harris. And it reminded me of the guy that Catelyn was talking to.
That was literally exactly what I was thinking when I read this.
There's gotta be a dude that points out the obvious.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going on about that. And Sir Harris, I think, is like, oh, we gotta sue for peace because they've cut us off from the west and we can't retreat home. And what about our supplies? And, you know, and Turn's like, peace? And he like, I love how he like finishes his wine and then smashes his wine glass and is like, see that there? That's your peace. That's what happened when my sweet nephew Joffrey decided to, ornament the Red Keep with Lord Eddard's head.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, he did that. I was like, of course, like, you literally lost all chances of ever making peace by killing. And now, like, just even if you think about the numbers, like, you were supposed to have 3 prisoners. One of them ran away, but like, they don't know that, so it's fine. So technically you're like, oh, we have 3 prisoners.
Yeah, but they're girls.
Yeah, like, now you're gonna kill, like, the biggest...
main one.
Yeah, the biggest prisoner you have. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, because then they start thinking about whether they can, like, trade hostages, and they're like, well, they have 3 hostages for everyone we do. Yeah. And we have nobody to trade for... Jamie. I was gonna say Jeremy, and I was like, who's Jeremy? Because Sir Jeremy Riker was at the wall, and I was... Yeah. Anyway, so Jamie.
But this is why, like, do you remember last time? Last time when I was like, oh, they're gonna move up Sansa and Joffrey's wedding? This is kind of why I was thinking, because I was like, they're gonna, like, they don't have Eddard anymore, so they're probably gonna, like, marry Sansa and be like, haha,
but then
she's
they can't
married
trade Sansa.
Yeah, but, like, they can't trade Sansa either way. She's just one person.
Right, but, like, okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if that would, like, help their odds at this time.
That's true.
So, yeah, they're like, this, you know, this dude's like, we need to do whatever, like, give them all the gold they need. And Tyrion's like, well, if they need gold, they can just melt down Jaime's armor.
That line was funny.
Yeah, but we know that it's gilded. You know, it's not actually solid gold or anything.
I know, but it was funny.
I know. It's just the Lannister in him.
Yeah, and I liked when Tywin was like, they have my son once again, and I was like, yeah,
people
now
are,
you know
like,
how
arguing
they feel.
Back and forth about these, like, stupid plans, and he's like, I don't care about any of this. Leave. And ever the soul of obedience, Tyrion rose to depart with the rest. And then his dad's like, no, not you. You stay, as well as Kevin. And then he gets everybody else to leave. Tyrion, you know, he's just lost his wine cup, so he's like, hey, uncle, mind giving me some wine? And then the craziest thing happens. Tywin gives him his own cup of wine.
Yeah.
And Tyrion's like so taken back by this.
Yeah. Because this is the father who doesn't even like to look at his son, and now he's like giving him his own wine. And I was like, what?
Now Tyrion truly was nonplussed. I love that. So yeah, Tywin's like, okay, I guess I underestimated you. You're right. We can't do anything now that Ned's dead. And then Tyrion's like, oh, Joffrey's only a boy. Like, you know, kids do crazy things. And then Tywin's like, yeah, I'm glad he hasn't married a sex worker yet. And Tyrion is like, it says, Tyrion sipped his wine, wondering how Lord Tywin would look if he flung the cup in his face.
That was funny.
Like, yes, just go ahead and do it. Because, like, at this point, Tywin needs Tyrion, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
This is his only chance to do something like this.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you know, I agree with you. I was like, you know what? You should just do it.
Yeah. Yes, don't respect your parents, kids.
That is the lessons you are learning here.
Well, not if they're terrible people, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So, anyway, Tywin's like, guess what? We have a new king now. And Kevin's like, wait, who? What? Joffrey died? What? Why didn't I hear about this? And he's like, calm the fuck down. Not Joffrey, Renly. So apparently, when Renly left the city, he went and married Marjorie Tyrell. Now, do you remember who Marjorie Tyrell is?
Is she the one who looked like Lyanna?
Well, he was hoping that she looked like Lyanna.
Right.
And was hoping to sneak her into Robert's bed and overthrow Cersei as the queen. But now he's married her and declared himself king. And he's got the, you know, the strength of Highgarden and Storm's End, because he's like the Lord of Storm's End behind him. So he's got an army in the south.
Yep.
Yay.
Yes, I love all these armies here to slay the Lannisters.
Yeah, what do you think about, like, Renly declaring himself king and doing all this?
What do you mean?
Like, do you like this development, or...?
I like this, yeah, like I just said, I like this development because it's just more enemies for the Lannisters. And, like, before I remember saying, what the heck's Renly gonna do? But then that was when I, like, forgot that he actually had, like, a position. And he, like, actually had people. So I like this development.
And... yes, that's good. So Tywin's talking about how Cersei wants them in King's Landing to, like, defend the city from Renly and potentially Stannis. And apparently she hasn't told Joffrey that Renly has declared himself king, because he'll want to go, like, right out with the city watch, leaving the city even more undefended.
Yeah, I swear to God, this kid has no brain.
Yeah. And, yeah, so... Tywin's like, yeah, we gotta worry about Stannis, but we have no idea what he's doing. All Varys hears is that he's, like, building ships, hiring sellswords, bringing shadowbinders for Ashai. What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's like all the enemies are just piling up for them, and I love it.
Yeah. What do you think of, like, Stannis's plans? What does it mean? Is any of it true?
I don't think it's true. I feel like for one reason or another, Varys is lying.
Oh, okay.
I just feel like it's too, like, I just feel like we've heard it too much for it to be true. Like, that's obviously not a good reason for me to be like, oh, it's not true, but that's what I think. I just think they just keep being like, oh, Stannis is doing this. I feel like he's doing something entirely different, and he's just lying about, like, you know, like, these rumors are not true. I think something else is going on. He's definitely gonna try and rebel against the Lannisters, but I don't think he's, like, building an army necessarily. Like, maybe he's trying to, I don't know, find somebody who can, like,
espionage,
prove something to someone. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Kevin at this point kind of sums up their situation. They're, you know, in the north, they've got Roose Bolton and his part of the Stark army. In the west, they've got Robb and his part of the army. In the south, now they have Renly and those dudes. And in the west, Stannis is potentially doing stuff. And, oh no, not the west, the east. Stannis is potentially gathering an army. And the Arryns are there, even though, like, at this point, we know that they're not really participating, but they could. Like,
yeah. And they obviously wouldn't be on the Lannister side if they did.
Yeah. And Thoros of Myr and Beric Dondarrion are still around.
Yeah, I love their stamina.
They're just like, well, if we can't take your whole army, we'll just like take some of your stuff here and there, and then like we'll leave you without your stuff. Okay, that's what happens when somebody takes your stuff. But
and then Tyrion's like, at least Rhaegar's dead, huh?
Yeah, and Tywin's like, oh, I don't need your japes.
Yeah, and I also love that now that Robb has freed the siege at Riverrun, now he has the strength of, like, the Tully forces as well. And Kevin says, like, their combined power could be more than, like, what we have, which I was like, yes.
Yeah. Damn right.
Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah, so he's like, we gotta, like, get out of here if we don't want to be caught between armies. Yeah. And Tywin reveals his plan to march south to Harrenhal. And Kevin's like, but Harrenhal? That's such a grim, unlucky place. Some people call it cursed. And yeah, and Tywin's like, yeah, well, whatever. I don't care about that. And he says on his way before, oh my gosh, words. So as they get their move on to Harrenhal, he's gonna send the Mountain ahead as Reavers, along with Vargo Hoat and his free riders and Sir Armory Lorch. So these people are gonna like have a bunch of people and go set fire to the Riverlands. Yay!
Yay!
And I'm like, okay, all right, I see like you want to cause destruction and possibly like, you know, the lords that are whose lands they are, you want to like lure them out there and stuff, right? But you're cut off from your supply lines at the moment. Where are you gonna get all your food, like, to feed your army? Like, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. They're not really... I feel like at this point they're just like, payback, sucks to suck. They're not really going through the whole thought.
Right. So they do that. Kevin is like, fine, I'll go... Not fine, but like, yes, my lord, I shall go give thee commands. Because he's like, oh.
And then Tywin kind of is talking to Tyrion, and he's like, oh, like... the Mountain people, they can, you know, go with Vargo Hoat and, like, do whatever they want to the goods, the stock, and the women, and burn the rest? And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all are all disgusting and filthy.
Well, that's what the Mountain and everybody else that's going on reaving is gonna do, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, Tyrion's like, actually, I would rather keep them with me, because I don't trust none of y'all, you know?
Yep.
And I was like, yes, good Tyrion,
yeah.
good.
And and Tywin's like, okay, well, they better not act out. And Tyrion's like, what? And Tywin's like, I am sending you to King's Landing. And Tyrion's
to
like...
rule.
Yeah, and Tyrion's, like, laughing, and he's like, sorry, what? Cersei's gonna love this development. And at this point, Tywin's like, I don't give a fuck. The council people suck. I don't care what my daughter thinks. Joffrey sucks. And he's just kind of, he's taking all the decisions, like, oh.
Yeah, like the council isn't advising him properly.
Yeah, he's like, none of these decisions are good. They're gonna ruin the entire kingdom. You go do this.
Yeah, because like Janos Slynt, his father was a butcher, and I'm like, okay, he's a dick, but that's not a valid reason, like according to me. And then dismissing Barristan Selmy, he's like, the dude's old, but he's got honor. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What were they thinking? And yeah, so Tyrion's job is to curb the boy being Joffrey, and, you know, take stock of the counselors, and if they're playing us false, spikes, heads, walls, as Tyrion says. I liked how succinctly he put that. It had the bite, 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 die, die, die effect.
Yeah, it had that vibe. And Tyrion at one moment's kind of like, ooh, okay. He's like, oh, yay. But then instantly he's like, why are you sending me? Why aren't you sending, like, somebody else? Like, what about Kevin or other people? And then Tywin's like, you are my son. And that's when Tyrion kind of is like, he thinks that he's never gonna get Jaime back. So in Tyrion's mind,
acknowledging
he's
Tyrion as a son.
Yeah, so that's so Tyrion thinks that he's just settling for him instead of being
you bloody bastard, you think Jaime's good as dead, so I'm all you have left. And Tyrion wants to slap him and spit in his face and cut his heart out to see if it's actually made out of gold, but he doesn't do any of that. He just gets up and leaves. But as he's leaving, Tywin instructs him to not bring the sex worker to court, and then Tyrion goes to go see Shay, the henceforementioned sex worker, and is like, I'm bringing you to court.
I like that little rebellion.
Yeah. So, okay, I realize in this chapter they don't actually clarify exactly what title Tyrion will hold. Did you get that?
No.
He'll be acting hand, because Tywin is hand, so he's like sending somebody to be hand on his behalf.
I get it.
I thought at some point they would have like just straight up said it, but I guess they didn't. But that's what's happening.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, it'll come up. Maybe I spoiled you, but that's what's happening.
I love when you spoil me.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. That makes sense, because I was like, are they gonna listen to him? So that makes sense that he's the acting hand.
Yes. So let's talk about predictions for Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
What's he gonna do as hand?
I am curious. I feel like he's definitely gonna make better decisions. I think he's gonna make better decisions than Joffrey and Robert combined.
Of course.
I have hope for him. I really hope he doesn't break that hope. I think...
So he's being sent to, like, hold down the fort, literally, the Red Fort, while there's potential, like, armies attacking the city.
Yeah.
Will he be able to hold down the fort?
See, I don't know, because the problem is they fired everybody who, like, understands battle strategy. I guess they still have some of, like, the Kingsguard, but they've fired Barristan. Like, I feel like, and the council.
Yeah, and they're, like, firepower, like, their army is the City Watch.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think he's gonna be able to. I think he will for a little bit, but I don't think he's gonna be able to lead the Lannisters to success.
Victory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Lannisters lose. Does that mean that somebody else takes control of King's Landing?
See, I don't know. I feel like it'll be like, I seriously think they're gonna come to like a truce somehow.
With whoever is potentially attacking the city?
Yeah, I just don't see the Lannisters.
But how can you have a truce when, like, Renly's like, I'm king, and Joffrey's like, I'm king? Like, how do you come to a truce to that?
I don't know, but I just don't see the Lannisters leaving the throne anytime soon. But I also, like, they're in a pretty bad condition right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So maybe, so the Lannisters get defeated. And then they're like, oh my gosh, don't kill us, keep us as, like, lords. And then they maintain, like, some power. And then later they, like, strike back.
Okay, so who is it going to be that attacks the city?
That's a good question. So who are the options? We have Stannis, we have Renly, we have Robb, we have,
Daenerys. Well, not anymore so much.
That's true. Okay, what were the options again?
Who's going to attack the city?
I think it'll be like a Renly-Robb moment.
Like, both of them together?
Yes. Wait, can Renly and Robb, like, meet up right now? No, they can't, right? Because one of them's south of Tywin, and one's... or what are the placements again?
They can't take their armies through without being noticed, but if they were to, like, I don't know, take a few people, then maybe, I don't know. I don't really know.
Okay, I don't think they're gonna do that. So I think Robb is gonna go to King's Landing.
Which is also south of where Tywin is.
Oh shit, that's Okay, no, Renly's gonna go to King's Landing.
Okay.
And Robb is gonna be like, Tyrion, calm down. Oh no, Tywin, calm down.
Okay, and what's Stannis gonna do?
I don't know. I think Stannis is gonna, like, I don't know, bring someone in who's gonna be like, Joffrey isn't the real king.
Okay.
And then, like, reveal... I feel like there's more secrets about the realm, and then Stannis is looking for people to reveal those secrets or something. I don't know.
Alright.
But I just feel like what Stannis is... I just don't think that Stannis is building an army.
Okay. Alright. So Stannis is planning something, but not war kind of something else. Will Shay go with Tyrion to King's Landing?
Yes, definitely.
All right, that's all the questions I have for that. We shall move on to Johnny.
Johnny boy. So we start the chapter, and John is, he's strapped up. He has a mare, he has Ghost, and he's ready to go. And Sam's like, John, don't leave. Like, this is your place. Like, stay here. And John's like, I don't want to hurt you, so can you move? And then Sam doesn't move, and he holds his ground until the last second, but then he has to jump outside, away, yes, not outside. He has to jump away because John is about to...
John almost rode him down.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you were really counting on that last minute, movement, but...
I mean, I might count on Sam, but, like, Sam isn't known to be the most agile. Like, he might want to run away, but maybe he'll get his leg caught somewhere, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that was
like,
a big
he's no
risk.
Ballet dancer. He's not gonna, like...
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I know for a fact, if I were like, okay, at the last moment, jump away from the horse, I'd be like, hells no, because I am definitely gonna trip on my feet.
Yeah, definitely. Sam definitely held down until, like, the last possible moment. I was like, good job, Sam. And, so he's leaving, and he's kind of thinking about, like, how much time he has to get away. He's like, Mormont's gonna get up at first light, so he's gonna get up as soon as, the morning comes. And then he's thinking, dawn. Like, what's
also
Sam?
known as dawn.
Yes.
When the morning comes.
Yes. And he's like, okay, if they question Sam, he'll tell someone. But otherwise, he loves me too much to tell anybody. And I was like, buddy, the reason he's gonna tell people is because he loves you.
Well, not even that he loves me so much, but that, like, he won't have the courage to go wake up Mormont in the middle of the night.
Yeah, John is literally wrong.
Well, no, because Sam doesn't end up waking Mormont. He wakes his friends, which is a totally different kind of, like, this is like going to wake up your boss, which is like going to wake up your colleague.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Anyway, John's like leaving, and he's thinking about how he left Longclaw, and he's like, it had been hard to abandon it, but I'm not so lost to honor as to take it with me. And that's like the second time that's happened to the sword, because like Jorah left
Poor
it.
Sword. And he there's this line that kind of hit me. He says, he's kind of thinking about like what he's doing, and he's like, no matter what he did, John felt as though he were betraying someone. Because he's thinking about it, and he's like, I feel like I'm betraying Mormont, like he trusted me with his sword, and I'm just running away.
But if he doesn't go, then he's betraying his dad.
Yeah.
And I like this. He says, the Southern had it easier. They had their septons to talk to, someone to tell them the gods' will, and help sort out right from wrong. But the Starks worshipped the old gods, the nameless gods, and if the heart trees heard, they did not speak. This is a legit thing. Like, one of the reason people gravitate towards religion is so that, like, somebody will tell them what to do, because it's so hard to know what to do. Yeah,
exactly. They don't have any, like, overt guidance. They just kind of have to figure it out themselves, and it's like harder to figure things out on your own.
Yeah, and he's leaving, and he sees like Castle Black fading, and then he's thinking that he'll have to steal some clothes because he's clad all in black, and people will be like, you.
Yeah, and he's thinking about like Winterfell and everything, and he's like, why am I doing this, and all these different things. And
well, in regards to Winterfell, he's like, Bran would want to help me, but Maester Luwin probably won't let me in, so can't go there. He's just like, okay, it all sucks, but as long as I live long enough to like avenge my father, it's all good, I can die after that.
And he's kind of thinking about like what's his name? Maester Aemon. I was about to say Luwin. He's thinking about Maester Aemon, and he's thinking, like, even now, John could not decide whether the Maester had stayed because he was weak and craven, or because he was strong and true. And I was like, yeah, both. Like,
why not both?
Yeah, right? I was like, it's kind of, it could be both, or it kind of could just be, like, he's like, no, like, this is my duty. And John just doesn't get that yet.
Yeah, because both actions take some kind of strength. Because if you're leaving, then you're like, facing the whole world against you, one person.
Yeah, you really have to believe in what you're doing to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he imagines, like, going to see Rob, and he's like, oh, when I go see him, he'll shake his head and smile, and he'll be like... And then he's like, yeah, well, he's actually not gonna probably smile, because the Starks are the ones responsible for, like, beheading any deserters.
Yeah.
And
he's thinking back to that day when they found the direwolves and Ned had beheaded the deserter who deserted the Night's Watch, and he's kind of thinking, like, would it have been different if that had been Benjen? Like, would Eddard still have done the same thing?
No.
Yeah. And he knows the answer to the question, he just doesn't want to face it.
Yeah, because, like, okay, say he shows up to Rob, and Rob really is, like, glad to see him. But all the people around him are like, dude, he's a deserter. Dude, he's a deserter. What's he gonna do? He's gonna be forced to kill him.
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah.
There's really no other... Yeah, that's why, like, you don't sign up for the Night's Watch unless you're gonna be there for life. But at this point, I realized Ned is dead. How are we gonna find out about Jon?
I don't know.
And I just got so mad at this point because I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, does his mom have to be alive so it can't be Lyanna? Like, how are we going to find out? Because Ned isn't, like, he never told Rob this. He never told Catelyn. Oh, sorry, he never told King Robert this. He never told Catelyn this. Like, how are we going to find out? And I just got really worried. But anyway, moving on.
Well, that's why it's a theory. So
wait,
he's
it
like,
never gets confirmed?
I don't know.
But you said it's a theory. Wait, no. If
Okay,
never
I'm
gets
saying
confirmed.
it's a theory right now, because right now there exists nobody that can confirm it at this point in the story. I'm not going to tell you any, like, whenever I make a comment, assume it's at that point in time. Not before or after, just then, okay?
Okay, cool. But yeah, the reason I said, like, Jon knows the answer is because he literally says, like, he's going down the road as if to outrun his doubts. Because now he's kind of doubting his actions. He's like, wait, would Eddard
even Ghost is like...
Yeah,
I'm gonna just stay back here. I'm not coming with you. And he's like, okay, I guess you'll follow later.
Yeah.
And he passes through Mole's Town, which is, like, a town that's mostly underground, so that's kind of cool. And he thinks about, like, the people that go there to see sex workers, and he's like, well, aren't they breaking their oaths too? I'm just the same.
I was like, buddy, they're still
I'm
like...
doing the right thing, so why do I feel so bad?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, if you feel bad, then, you know?
Yeah. He just, like, continues riding. Eventually, like, both his mare and him are sweating so much that he has to, like, take a break. He sits down, eats a bit, waits for Ghost to catch up.
Yeah.
When he hears all these horses approaching, like 5 or 6 people, and he hides in, like, the forest and just, like, keeps an eye on the road. And it turns out to be all his friends.
Yay.
Except Sam. Sam didn't come, but, like, all his other friends came. Sam told them.
And they're all, like, theorizing. They're like, well, if I was here, I would be going there. If I was here, I'd be here. And then, you know, Ghost comes in and pretty much reveals that Jon is there.
Yeah. Look at Ghost, just... You know, it says, no, wait, later on. We'll get to that. But yes, I just love Ghost giving him away.
Yeah.
And, you know, they surround him and they're like, what you doing, dude? And he's like, leave me alone, I will kill you all. Yeah. And they're like, we're your bros.
And they're, like, reciting the entire oath that they have to take when they become members of the Night's Watch.
Yeah. And Pip, when they, like, finish the oath, they're chanting it together, and Pip's like, so, here are your choices. Either kill us or come back with us. And Jon, like, lifts a sword, and then he's like, oh, fine. Come with you. Damn you all. Yeah. And then it says, Ghost moved out from under the trees, and Jon glared at him. Small help you were, he said. The deep red eyes looked at him knowingly.
Yes.
Love you, Ghost.
Yes, Ghost is an icon.
Yeah, and then they gotta rush back, because, like, if they're all not in bed by dawn, then they're all gonna be thought of as
there's
traitors.
No point in doing this whole thing if they're all just gonna get caught.
So they ride back, and Jon's like, okay, they can take me back, but they can't make me stay. I'm just gonna bide my time, and when nobody's looking, I'm gonna run off again.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Jon, you're just that sly. And then they get back, and they they kind of get back in time, and then Sam's like, I'm glad they found you. And John's like, I'm not. And it's this whole thing. And
yeah, and then he has to, it's like dawn already, so he has to go get Mormont's breakfast, and he goes to his room to, like, give it to him, and Mormont's like, get me some beer. And okay, this is, like, one of those weird details, which I love. John opens, like, a window and takes the flagon of beer from the outside ledge, because it's like a refrigerator, because they're, like, covered in snow. Get it?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's funny.
Yeah, I like that.
That's really funny. Outdoor refrigerator.
Yeah. And Mormont's like, so, you look tired. Was your ride too long? And then John's like, you know? Of course I know. Eamon told me you'd go. I told him you'd be back. I know my men. And my boys, too. Honor set you on the King's Road, and honor brought you back. And John's like, my friends brought me back. And then Mormont's like, did I say it was your honor?
That was really, I loved Mormont in this chapter. I was like, go off on this kid.
Yeah.
My favorite Mormont quote was when he was like, do you think they chose me Lord Commander because I'm dumb as a stump snow? And I was like, you're just sassing him, and it's so funny.
Yeah. Don's like, well, I'm ready to die. I know the price of desertion. And Mormont's like, dude, calm down. If we beheaded every dude who went down to Molestown overnight, only ghosts would guard them all. And then I, like, had this vision of, like, Ghost, but then, like, Ghost the direwolf was their leader, who was the commander. Okay.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Yep.
And then he's like, so what did you think you were doing? Like, your dad's dead. Will your going bring him back? And John's like, no. And your brother, isn't he, like, surrounded by literally thousands of people? What's your one person, like, addition gonna do? Like, right?
And here John's speechless, and I was like, as you should be. I was like, dude, this is the stuff you think through before you risk your life.
And Mormont's like, you know, my sister's also riding off to war, and I may not like her, but I do love her, so I'm worried about her, but I'm staying here. Where are you staying? Or going, or being?
Yeah, he's like, my place is here. Where's yours, boy?
Yeah.
And John's like, I don't know. And he's like, I do. And then he's kind of like, okay, things are getting serious, and you have to understand that the war that Robb is fighting is not as important as the one that we are going to have to fight. Like, which movement do you think you need to be part of? We literally
saw the dead rise. Like,
yeah.
What more motivation do you need?
Yeah, exactly. And then John's like, he has a point.
Yeah. Mormont, like, reports that all these, like, animals have been moving south, and wildling villages have been abandoned, and, like, Mance Rayder is, like, gathering all the free folk and, you know, up to something which they don't know what.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, you have to understand that, like, your dad sent you here because, like, he understood our mission, and he understood, like, the weight and importance of it. And John's like, he
says, like, before he says that, he says first, do you think your brother's war is more important than ours? And then he says, when dead men come hunting in the night, do you think it matters who sits on the Iron Throne?
Period.
He's asking the real questions.
That's
here.
Like what Osha said when she was like,
marching the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, you have the blood of the first men. You were meant to be here, and I want you and that wolf of yours with us when we go beyond the wall. And John's like, beyond the wall?
Yeah.
And they're gonna find Benjen Stark, alive or dead. He's like, he being Mormont is gonna lead the ranging. Lead the ranging. I totally forgot all my words. And he's like, and, you know, traditionally, my steward's also supposed to be my squire, as in, like, the dude that I can count on in battle. So, like, am I gonna have to worry about you leaving every night? Or are you gonna be, he says, are you a brother of the Night's Watch? Or are you only a bastard boy who wants to play at war? And John's like, oh, forgive me, Father, Robb, Arya, Bran, forgive me, I cannot help you. I am yours, my lord, your man, I swear it. I will not run again.
Yeah. And this is also, like, kind of, I don't know if I'm remembering it wrong, but this is kind of also the stuff that, like, Jon was thinking about, right? When he was initially like, I want to go to the Wall. He was thinking of all this, like, I'm going to be brave, I'm going to be chivalrous, I'm going to do this, like, whole thing. So now he's finally kind of...
Yeah, which was why he was so disappointed when he was made a steward and not a ranger, but now he's like the...
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Not second in command, but he's like directly under the person that's in command.
Exactly. I was like, yes.
And at the end of the chapter, Mormont's like, okay, good. Now go put on your sword. Which is like a assurance for us, the readers, which is like, okay, so he's not taking the sword away yet.
Yes.
Like, Jon can still keep it.
Yes.
Yay!
Yay! And just as we were sitting here thinking about it, just as we were here, like, talking about, like, oh, does it matter who sits on the Iron Throne, like, when freaking winter comes?
Dead come walking, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost, like, I kind of equate it to, like, a metaphor for, like, climate change and everything, because in our world, we're just so caught up in, like, freaking power and all that shit, and it's like, okay, well, does it matter if you're, you know, like, it really doesn't, y'all.
You can gather all the money in the world, but if there is no earth, where are you gonna, like, what are you gonna do with that hordes of cash? Like, do something good with it. Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Sorry.
Period.
Why do you keep saying period? I know you're, like, trying to, like, exaggerate the point, but it just sounds really weird.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. Says the person whose every second word is a weird word. Weird word. Woodward. Wait, what's Woodward?
Woodward?
Squidward.
I don't know.
What's that squid from SpongeBob?
Squidward.
Weird word. Squidward.
I remember I have this one video of my phone back when I used to play clarinet, and the video is like me going, hi, my name's Harmat, and I'm auditioning for the role of Squidward, and then I start playing clarinet.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk predictions. Are they going to go on this ranging?
Yes.
Is Jon going to go with, and Jon and Ghost, like, going with the Rangers?
Yes.
Okay, are they going to be successful? What are they going to find beyond the wall?
Okay, so they're gonna find Benjen's dead body. No, I remember, I said Benjen was alive. They're gonna find Benjen. Oh my gosh, what if Benjen has become a white? Okay, Benjen is gonna be a white, and they're gonna find Benjen, and it's gonna be awful. But they also have to bring something with them, you know what I mean? Like, some way of, like, making fire or something, you know? Because
they can bring supplies with them.
Oh, yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah, so they're gonna bring supplies with them, so then, like, you know, if they encounter that sort of stuff again, they can do something about it. So they're gonna encounter, Benjen, and then somebody's gonna die.
Okay.
Not, like, Mormont or...
Ooh, okay.
Not anybody that we know personally. Like, I feel like one of Jon's friends could die. Like, you know how some of his friends are also rangers, so one of them could die.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're going to find Benjen. They're gonna, like, burn it after one person dies. Then what? Are they gonna figure out what Mance Rayder's up to? Like, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they'll figure out what... okay, I think they will figure out what he's up to, but definitely not, like, in Jon's next chapter. But I think they'll figure out what Mance Rayder's up to. Maybe Mance Rayder's like, we're gonna join them to fight against you. I don't know. I don't even know what Mance Rayder, like, he's the king beyond the wall, right? But, like, I don't really know, like, what his motives are. So I'm just gonna assume that he's trying to partner up with them.
He's the Stannis of the North.
That's funny. He is the Stannis of the North.
Okay, but, like, eventually, will they be successful in delaying or averting winter or whatever? You know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They do not have nearly enough people to even think about that. Like, I feel like they're just so vulnerable. Like, what are they gonna do? They can explore, you know?
Yes. Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have. Do you have anything else to add in for either of these chapters before we move on?
Okay, there was a point where I was confused, and I don't know if I'm just dumb, but I was confused.
What was the confusion?
When Jon's kind of like, ghost, there was a sound that confused me.
Okay.
It said, off in the trees, the distant scream of some frightened animal made him look up, and then...
Yeah. Like, that could have just been, like, you know, it doesn't have to be ghosts. There's other predators in the woods, like.
That's true. I just got worried. I was like, oh.
And it can be Ghost the predator finding prey. Like, we don't really know what Ghost was up to before he, like, turned up to, deal with John and his shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything more than just that. Next chapters?
How many are we reading?
2.
Ooh, okay. I think this is the last one.
Okay, so which ones will they be?
Oh my gosh, okay, wait. Who haven't we seen in a while? I feel like... okay, what if we get... I was about to say Eddard, and then I was like, he's dead. Oh, that's so sad.
Eddard's ghost.
We're gonna see Sansa, and we're gonna see Daenerys.
Okay, the 2 people we saw just last episode?
Oh yeah, yes.
Well, you are wrong. We are going to read chapters 71 and 72. Chapter 71 is Catelyn.
Oh my gosh, we haven't seen her since day 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So what's she gonna be up to?
What were they doing? What did we just find out about their plan?
They just lifted the siege at River Run.
Oh yeah, now she has her brother. Okay, so we're gonna be talking to...
Is she at River Run?
Okay, so I think... Oh, I'd predicted that their plan was gonna be to go to King's Landing. So I think they're gonna try and go to... No, I said Renly was gonna go to King's Landing. Okay, so they're gonna be... Maybe they're gonna be, like, making a plan. Or,
okay.
No, I don't think so. I don't think the last chapter of the book is gonna be them making a plan. What the heck? Okay, so they're gonna be going down towards where Tywin is, and they might just try to rally up against Tywin.
Okay, alright. The chapter after that, chapter 72, is indeed Daenerys.
Oh my gosh, so she's gonna be the last chapter of the book? Oh my gosh.
If that's the case, sure.
Okay, so Daenerys is... Okay, so she... Daenerys suffocated Drogo, her son's dead.
That's a very, very graphic way of saying that.
She did,
You could just said Drogo died.
Well, Drogo didn't die. She suffocated Drogo.
But that resulted in him... Okay, whatever. Yes.
Okay, so...
She took a pillow, smushed it in his face, and pressed down until he thrashed about trying to breathe.
Okay.
And no longer
We do not
could.
need the graphics. Okay, so she's gonna be going to the place where they were gonna trade the slaves. The enslaved people, where they were gonna trade them. And then they're gonna be going there, and they just got there, and they're gonna be like, we need money to go to Westeros, or they're gonna try and...
Right, but they don't have people in captivity anymore. Remember, she's only got like the stragglers left behind, remember?
Okay, wait, didn't I say she was gonna join another Khalazar or something?
I don't remember, this was a whole week ago.
Okay, maybe they're just gonna, I don't know, rest up and try to... Maybe Jorah's gonna be
they were gonna go somewhere, but I don't remember where.
Yeah. Jorah's gonna be like, let's go here, I have connections here, we can stay here.
Yes, that's what you said. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. And the chapter is gonna be them getting there and that stuff.
Yeah, they're gonna be getting there, and then they're by the end of the chapter, they're gonna, like, have a plan. And it's gonna be, like, the cliffhanger, because it's gonna be this, like, crazy, incredible plan, and I'm gonna be like, I need the next book.
Okay. Alright, fair enough. So you think these 2 are the last chapters, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages and there's really nothing left.
And there's nobody that we need to catch up with other than these 2?
No.
Okay. Well then, I believe that's everything. Y'all can find us on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium, and our email is at popculturesymposium@gmail.com. And until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.